Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another Bad Seed Brighton Property of the Week. Start off with an update about my situation. We got some good news, finally. Last week, 6 days ago, I received not one, but two offers for the house. One was full asking price. One was, and that's what's it, under full asking price, but with a quicker chain. And someone who I've referred to previously on this channel, has wanted this house since October, just hasn't been in a position to buy it. So I've agreed a sale. Finally agreed a sale. It's not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning. So they get a survey done. We'll look to move forward, etc., etc. I've started emptying sheds, making trips to the tip. It's happening. I reckon another month or two, and there'll be a trip to France, looking at some properties, which is what I should have been doing 9 months ago. Talking of property, got a property to show you today. It's in the Pays de Loire. There's a caveat. You wouldn't, it's a historic, I don't want to give too much away. It's a historic monument in France. So you wouldn't be able to do anything without, approval from the bureaucracy. That said, when you look at something and something ignites and you think, oh my God, what a dream, what an adventure, what a life-changing thing. This is it. You better sit down for this one. Grab yourself a drink, sit back, enjoy. This property I found on the Green Acres website. It's brought to market by an immobilier called Cabinet Le Nail, and the property itself is actually a former priory from the 12th century to be restored as a historical monument. So here we are. You can see the location of Craon, which is where the priory is situated. Saint-Malo being the nearest port. The town of Craon itself is actually 10 kilometres away from this property and is a town of about 4,500 population. So a couple of cadastrals to share. This one is showing the stream to the southern border of the property, and then the purple or violet line is the actual boundary to the property. And then something we've not had before, we've got a second cadastral. This one though, hand drawn and dates back to 1840. It's a Napoleonic cadastral. And there's a little info here. This property dates back to 1196, when Maurice II, Lord of Craon, gave the Grand Mont monks land in his forest to establish a priory. What we're calling the priory, the main remaining building, was built in the 12th century. You can see it's got an additional wing coming off perpendicular from it. This large building is believed to have been what was the monks' refectory. There were cloisters enclosed by the nave of a church, but the cloister was destroyed around 1700 and the church fell into disrepair in the 19th century. So this property obviously requires a full renovation. The current owners, from what I can see and from what I'm told, have undertaken some work to further allow the restoration of this historical monument. And from what I can see, I think they've put a pretty solid roof on the property. Alongside the priory itself, you have a large stable building built in the 19th century from what was a former church. And that's what I would turn into my main dwelling. Then there's another former dwelling adjoining the main building. There's a couple of other various ruined buildings. I think one of those is a piggery, and the property also, as well as having its own stream, has its own well. So I've managed to obtain from the agent, whose details I'm including, some pictures of the interior. I'll be honest with you, some of them I can't tell whether they're actually the large stables building or the priory itself. Some of the pictures do have captions. I'm going to put them up here, and really I think they just illustrate A, the scale of the challenge, and B, the level of work that's required. Okay, let me try to cover off the planning controls on historic buildings in France. If you own or even live near a protected building in France, within a conservation area, you're subject to stronger planning controls. If you need to undergo building work on such properties, you apply to the Architecte de Bâtiment de France, the ABF, who are represented by specialist planning officials based in each prefecture, whose consent is required for any planning application concerning such properties. And apparently the majority of complaints about the ABF occur because of the time they take to consider a planning application. For a normal run-of-the-mill, probably not the best phrase, planning application, they're required to make a decision within 2 months. In examples that are referred to the ABF, that is extended to 6 months. If, for example, you made a request, you were rejected after or within 6 months, you are able to make a secondary application, but then the ABF have a further 6 months to consider it. And should you be fortunate enough to receive a positive decision, what you get is a list of very detailed conditions concerning the nature and the execution of the works. And there are stories of projects just being abandoned simply because of the sheer weight of conditions imposed by the ABF. As an absolute newbie and an amateur in regard to buying property in France and certainly dealing with the ABF, the best advice I can give you is be very careful with the selection of your architect and try to get one who has good links to the ABF and would be able to understand all their conditions and requirements. Get on with it, I hear you cry. Tell us the price, Bad Seed, for this life-changing property. The agent is asking €110,000 or £92,000 equating to $120,000, which is 173,000 in Canadian and 189,000 in Australian. How much? I mean, A, it's an awful lot of work. B, it would be a bureaucratic nightmare. You know, you'd be agreeing what type of windows, what they would be made of, what type of slate, what type of stone, what you can, what you can't do, what you must do. A million and one things that I don't even know about. But also, oh, what a property. And it's got a decent stream, not just a stream, a decent stream. I'd live in the stables. I don't think I'd even look to live in the Priory. You do something else with the Priory, do it up and turn it over to the community, make it a free event centre or something, you know, a not-for-profit. Incredible. It'll either be on the market forever or it'll be snapped up. You just hope it goes to the right people, you know. But I can't lie, that property, that setting, I love that. That makes my heart soar. Anywho, let me know what you think. Feel free to leave a comment below. I'll put the link to the property in the description. It's getting real. Watch this space, and I'll catch you next time. Have a great week.